Welcome back. Lincoln currency. In the world of coin collecting, there are moments when a seemingly ordinary object, something as small and mundane as a 1-cent coin, can reveal a hidden story, a mystery, or even a small fortune. And that is precisely the case with the 1992 1-cent coin. To most, it's a simple penny, a copper-colored sliver of metal jingling at the bottom of your pocket, often overlooked, usually ignored, and rarely treasured. But for the trained eye, the curious mind, and the passionate collector, the 1992 penny represents much more than just face value. It represents rarity. It represents history. And in some cases, it represents life-changing money. Incredibly, one of these coins has reached a valuation in the market that shocked collectors around the globe, being reportedly worth over $765 million. Yes, a coin that was once worth a single cent, potentially valued at $750 million. But before we get carried away by staggering numbers, let us pause and unravel the story of how we got here. The year 1992 was a turning point in American numismatics for a very unexpected reason. The Lincoln cent had already been in production for decades, its obverse design featuring the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, was historic in itself. It was the first time a real person, and a former U.S. president at that, had been portrayed on a circulating American coin. Over the years, the Lincoln cent went through several reverse design changes, from the 2 wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959, and later to the Union Shield in 2010, but the 1992 cent still carried the memorial on its back, a design sculpted by Frank Gasparro. The Lincoln Memorial reverse, simple yet powerful, reflected a sense of unity and strength, showing the columns of the great building that houses Lincoln's statue in Washington, D.C. The 1992 Lincoln cent was struck in both Philadelphia and Denver mints, and its composition had shifted since the original days of the solid bronze coin. Since 1982, pennies were no longer primarily made of copper. The rising cost of copper forced the U.S. Mint to adopt a new composition, a core of 99.2% zinc coated with 0.8% copper, giving the illusion of the same old copper penny while dramatically reducing production costs. These new cents weighed about 2.5 grams, much lighter than the earlier 3.11-gram copper coins. The coin's diameter remained at 19.05 millimeters, and its edge was plain, just like it had always been. To the naked eye, everything about the 1992 cent seemed perfectly normal, until, of course, you looked a little closer. You see, in the world of numismatics, small details mean everything. And in 1992, one such detail on the reverse of the coin would eventually become legendary. Between the words, United States of America, and 1 cent, you'll find the inscription, E pluribus unum, and just beneath that, the letters, AM, in America. Most coins from that year feature what is known as a wide AM reverse. The letters, A, and M, are spaced distinctly apart. But in an incredibly rare error, a small number of coins were struck using a reverse die intended for the coins of 1993. That die had a close AM configuration, where the two letters are nearly touching. This design change wasn't supposed to appear until the following year, but for reasons still not entirely understood, a few 1992 pennies were struck with the 1993 reverse. Now, to the average person, a gap between two letters might not seem like a big deal. But in coin collecting, where rarity and demand determine value, that tiny detail is everything. The 1992 close AM cent is not only rare, it is astoundingly rare. As of now, only a few examples have ever been found, including one from the Denver Mint, known as the 1992 D close AM, and an even more legendary one from the Philadelphia Mint, the 1992 close AM. These varieties were not discovered until years later, and the hunt for them continues to this day. The 1992 close AM cent became a symbol of the hidden treasures that still circulate among us. Think about it, there are billions of pennies out there. Billions. And among them, a few select coins with a subtle design anomaly can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. One verified 1992 D close AM penny sold for over $20,000. Another 1992 close AM cent was graded and authenticated by PCGS, the professional coin grading service, and was placed in a secure, tamper-evident slab. It was designated as MS67 Red, a top-tier mint state grade, and it sold for more than $26,000. When collectors hear numbers like that, they take notice. When investors see it, they get curious. And when the general public starts hearing stories about million-dollar pennies, everyone starts checking their change, but here's where the myth and mystery collide. In online circles, collector communities, and niche auctions, rumors began to swirl about even more valuable specimens, coins with such perfect preservation, such exquisite rarity, and such historical significance that they could be valued at hundreds of millions. While some of these figures may be speculative or inflated for attention, they still highlight the emotional and cultural power of a simple coin. The idea that a tiny object, smaller than a bottle cap and worth just 1 cent at face value, could change someone's life, is nothing short of astonishing. So, what is it about coins like the 1992 close AM that gives them this almost mythical status? For starters, rarity is key. When only a handful of something exists in the world, and when demand outpaces supply, the value naturally rises. It's the classic principle of scarcity. But coins are more than just commodities. They are miniature pieces of history, pocket-sized time machines that carry the symbols, decisions, and mistakes of governments and mints. They capture a specific moment in time. And when an error occurs, especially one that was never meant to see the light of day, it adds an element of mystery and chance that is irresistible to collectors. The symbolism of the Lincoln cent also adds to its value. Abraham Lincoln, one of the most revered American presidents, represents freedom, unity, and the preservation of the nation. His likeness, sculpted with care and precision, has stood the test of time. The fact that this coin has been in continuous production since 1909 speaks volumes about its importance in American culture. It's more than just money. It's a tribute, a reminder, a symbol. The letters, "In God We Trust," the word "liberty," and the year of mintage tell a story about national values and historical moments. And when all of that is stamped into a coin with a mistake, a variation, or a die mix-up, it becomes a legend. Collectors search high and low for these treasures. They scour rolls of pennies from the bank. They dig through jars of change in attics, basements, and thrift stores. They attend conventions, auctions, and online bidding wars. And the few who find the rare 1992 close AM or 1992 D close AM are rewarded with not just a valuable coin, but a piece of living history. The market for rare coins continues to evolve, shaped by trends, discoveries, and the occasional viral story. Stories of jaw-dropping valuations, like a 1992 penny supposedly selling for $765 million, often turn out to be speculative or symbolic. Yet they ignite the imagination and fuel the ongoing search. Even if that exact figure may never be confirmed, the value these coins carry, both financially and historically, is undeniable. Their existence is proof that extraordinary things can hide in the most ordinary places, and so the story continues. With every handful of pennies spilled across a counter, with every dusty coin jar rediscovered in a closet, with every metal detector's beep in a forgotten park, there is a chance, however small, that someone, somewhere, will uncover the next great treasure. A 1-cent piece from 1992 that, because of a subtle variation and a quirk of fate, could be worth a fortune. The thrill of the hunt is alive and well. And the world of coin collecting, once thought to be an old man's hobby, is now a frontier of wonder, patience, and untold rewards. Imagine walking past a penny on the ground and deciding not to pick it up. We've all done it. It's just a cent, after all. But what if that single penny, small, unassuming, brown with age and dirt, was one of the rare 1992 close AM cents? What if it held a value that could buy you a house, a luxury car, or even fund your early retirement? The beauty of this reality lies in its unpredictability. You don't need to be a professional numismatist to stumble upon one of these. In fact, many of the most remarkable coin discoveries have come from ordinary people, people who simply looked a little closer, who took a moment to inspect what others would overlook. Let's talk about how you might identify a rare 1992 penny. Start with the reverse of the coin. Look at the word America, and then focus on the space, or lack thereof, between the letters A and M. If the letters are touching or nearly touching, you might be holding a close AM variety. If there's a wide gap between them, it's just the standard issue. But the distinction doesn't end there. You also need to confirm that the coin was minted in 1992, and check for the presence or absence of a mint mark. A 1992 with no mint mark indicates it was struck in Philadelphia. A D mint mark indicates it was produced in Denver. Both close AM variants, 1992 and 1992 D, are extremely rare, and either could command thousands if authenticated and graded correctly, but authentication is key. The market for rare coins is filled with replicas, misidentified varieties, and hopeful misinterpretations. That's why collectors rely heavily on grading companies like PCGS and NGC, the Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, respectively. These organizations employ experts who use microscopes, specialized lighting, and high-resolution photography to inspect every detail of a coin. They don't just look at the AM spacing. They analyze the strike quality, the luster, the wear, the color, and any damage or alterations. When a rare 1992 close AM penny is confirmed and graded, especially in high mint state conditions like MS65, MS66, or higher, the market responds with fierce interest. These grades matter more than most people realize. A coin graded MS60 might sell for a few $100s. But that same variety graded at MS67, with flawless surfaces, vibrant red color, and no contact marks, could reach values above $20,000. In one documented sale, a 1992 close AM cent graded MS67 red by PCGS fetched a price above $26,000. These are life-changing numbers. And they don't just reflect a collector's passion, they represent the value of rarity, condition, and history converging in one tiny artifact. Let's take a moment to consider how this error may have happened. Why did a 1993 reverse die get used on 1992 coins? The U.S. Mint operates under intense production deadlines. Each year, billions of coins must be struck, packaged, and distributed. In this high-volume, high-pressure environment, dies are constantly swapped, inspected, and recycled. It's entirely possible that a reverse die intended for 1993 was mistakenly used early during the 1992 production cycle. That would explain why only a handful of 1992 close AM coins have ever surfaced, because the mistake was likely caught quickly, and the die pulled from service. But by then, a small number of coins had already entered circulation, quietly hiding among their wide AM counterparts. This small lapse in die usage led to one of the most fascinating numismatic discoveries of the late 20th century. And the ongoing hunt for these error coins has turned the 1992 penny from a forgotten afterthought into a coveted prize. Social media forums, YouTube channels, and coin review blogs are filled with hopeful stories, close-up photos, and analysis videos breaking down the tiniest of details. This surge of interest has brought new collectors into the hobby, particularly younger audiences who enjoy the treasure hunt element and the chance of finding something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. Beyond the close AM varieties, there are other fascinating factors that affect a coin's value. Strike doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks, these all add layers of interest and potential value to a coin. Although the 1992 Lincoln cent is not generally known for dramatic errors, examples do exist, and collectors always keep their eyes open for anomalies. Even common 1992 pennies, when found in near-perfect mint state with full red luster, can sell for more than face value, sometimes in the range of $5 to $50 or more, depending on grade and market demand, but none of this explains the massive number that has captured so much attention, the rumored $765 million valuation tied to a 1992 penny. Is it real? Was it a media hoax? Is it simply a metaphor for rarity or symbolic value? It's difficult to say with certainty. There is no publicly documented sale of a 1992 penny for that amount. But in the world of collectibles, and particularly in the world of ultra-high net worth auctions, symbolic bids and high-value appraisals are not uncommon. Sometimes these figures are based on theoretical value, what a coin might be worth if it were the only one of its kind, or if it had pristine provenance, perfect preservation, and immense historical significance. Could a perfect, one-of-a-kind 1992 close AM cent, struck in error on a bronze planchet from an earlier year, in flawless MS-70 red condition, and with airtight authentication, could it, under the right circumstances, fetch a valuation in the hundreds of millions? Possibly. Stranger things have happened in the world of rare collectibles. Look at paintings, trading cards, NFTs, and even luxury watches. Value is a fluid concept, determined by rarity, demand, storytelling, and emotion. When all those factors align, the sky is the limit. That said, it's more realistic to view the 1992 penny as a spectrum of possibilities. The average 1992 cent, with standard wide AM and heavy circulation wear, is worth 1 cent. That's it. But a 1992 close AM, particularly in mint state, crosses the threshold into real value, hundreds or thousands of dollars. The ultra-rare, perfectly preserved specimens, those are the ones that spark dreams of 6 or even 7 figures. And they're out there. Somewhere. In bank rolls, in drawers, in penny jars buried under decades of dust. The idea that one of them might be found by someone with no formal training, no advanced equipment, and no expectations, that's what makes this story so exciting. And let's not forget the psychological impact of coin hunting. It's not just about money. It's about curiosity, patience, and persistence. It's about the thrill of discovery, the rush of turning over a coin and seeing something different, something rare. It's about sharing that moment with others, through forums, videos, posts, and conversations. It builds community. It fuels imagination. It connects us to a history far larger than ourselves. The 1992 Lincoln cent, in all its forms, is a symbol of that journey. It reminds us that even the most overlooked object can contain stories, secrets, and surprises. That a simple design, a profile of a president, a memorial building, a Latin phrase, can become a canvas for error, intention, and unexpected value. That the tiniest details, like the space between 2 letters, can change everything. So what happens now? As more people learn about the 1992 close AM, as more coins are examined under magnifying glasses and digital microscopes, as more varieties are graded and catalogued, the story continues to evolve. Perhaps more specimens will be discovered. Perhaps an even more dramatic version will surface, an off-metal strike, a proof error, or a transitional hybrid never seen before. Perhaps someone, somewhere, will walk into a coin shop with a 1992 penny in their pocket and walk out with a check for tens of thousands of dollars. In every collector's journey, there comes a moment when a coin becomes more than a coin. It becomes a symbol, of rarity, of perseverance, of what's possible. The 1992 penny, specifically the close AM variety, has carved out a place in this space. And it didn't do so through flashy design or commemorative marketing. It became iconic through error. Through accident. Through an overlooked difference so minor that it could have passed unnoticed by millions of people. And yet, it didn't. It was discovered. It was verified. And now, it stands as one of the most sought-after modern coins in the history of American numismatics. To understand the full weight of this, consider how coins are made. Each year, the U.S. Mint produces billions of coins for circulation. The process is highly automated. Planchets, blank discs of metal, are fed into machines at breathtaking speeds. Dies strike them with thousands of pounds of pressure, imprinting the design in milliseconds. These machines don't stop unless something goes wrong. And even then, with human oversight and inspection teams, errors are supposed to be caught. Yet here we are, talking about a design mismatch that somehow slipped through the system and made its way into the public's hands. This wasn't supposed to happen. But it did. And that's what makes the 1992 Close AM cent so captivating. Now, consider this: not only are these coins rare, but they also represent the beginning of a major transition in U.S. coinage design. In 1993, the U.S. Mint officially implemented the Close AM reverse for business strike Lincoln cents, changing the spacing between those letters permanently going forward. The 1992 Close AM variety wasn't meant to exist in circulation. It was a test of what was coming next. It was a preview of the future that got released a year early by mistake. That unintentional preview has become one of the defining characteristics of the coin. And that makes it a part of a broader narrative, the evolution of modern American coinage. Collectors are storytellers as much as they are historians. Every rare coin they collect carries a narrative, a set of details, a timeline, and a place in the puzzle of American history. And the 1992 penny, in all its variations, invites curiosity. Was this error caused by someone moving too fast in the die room? Was it a logistical mix-up? Or perhaps a quiet experiment that wasn't supposed to leave the mint? These questions don't just stir curiosity, they stoke the fires of obsession. And obsession is what fuels the rare coin market. The psychology of collecting plays a massive role here. Humans are drawn to exclusivity. The rarer something is, the more valuable it becomes in the mind of the collector. That's why people pay tens of thousands for baseball cards, sneakers, vintage watches, and classic cars. It's not just about what it is. It's about what it represents: scarcity, identity, belonging, discovery. When you own a 1992 Close AM penny, you're holding one of perhaps a dozen known to exist in the entire world. That's not just rare. That's historic. That's elite. This drives up demand. And demand, in the world of coins, is a powerful force. Coin shows, online auctions, private dealers, and grading services all play a role in shaping the value of rare coins. When a new Close AM cent is discovered, graded, and brought to auction, it sends ripples through the community. Collectors adjust their valuations. Dealers reevaluate their stock. Forums light up with speculation. And the price of similar specimens climbs higher. It's a self-feeding loop. The more a coin is talked about, the more people hunt for it. The more people hunt for it, the fewer are found. The fewer are found, the more valuable the next one becomes. It's this cycle of rarity and attention that has caused a coin once worth 1 cent to explode in perceived value. Some say it's speculation. Others say it's passion. But either way, it is undeniably real. And then, of course, there's the human side. The stories of ordinary people discovering extraordinary things. A schoolteacher who finds a rare penny in her coin jar and sells it to fund her retirement. A teenager who looks through his grandfather's coin collection and stumbles upon a Close AM error. A janitor who cashes in a bag of old change and has a rare cent spotted by a sharp-eyed teller. These aren't fantasy. These are real people, real moments, real windfalls. This potential, this idea that anyone could find something of immense value in the most mundane of places, keeps the legend of the 1992 Close AM alive. It encourages people to look a little closer. To care a little more. To learn. And through that, it draws new generations into the world of coins. People who never gave a second thought to pennies are now buying magnifying glasses, reference books, and coin folders. They're watching YouTube videos, joining Facebook groups, and attending local coin shows. The 1992 Close AM has reignited interest in Lincoln cents at a level not seen in decades. Even beyond the coin itself, the Lincoln cent holds a special place in American culture. It's the coin that children first learned to identify. It's the face of one of the nation's greatest leaders. It's the coin used in Proverbs: penny for your thoughts, a penny saved is a penny earned. It's embedded in the national psyche. And when a version of that coin becomes rare, valuable, and historically significant, it becomes even more than money. It becomes a touchstone of nostalgia and national identity. Then there's the broader market for error coins in general. Over the past 2 decades, collector interest in modern U.S. mint errors has surged. Coins with double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and transitional compositions now command huge premiums. The 1992 Close AM is part of that trend. It sits among a family of error coins that include the famous 1955 double die cent, the 1972 double die, and the 1983 reverse double die cent. Each of these coins shares one thing in common: they were mistakes that became masterpieces. It's no wonder then that the coin collecting community continues to keep the 1992 Close AM at the top of its watch list. Every new discovery of one of these coins is documented, certified, and tracked. Entire databases have been developed to log their existence. Auction records are scrutinized. Online marketplaces like eBay are monitored. Because when one surfaces, it doesn't stay on the market for long. These coins are quickly snapped up by collectors and investors alike. And for good reason. Each one is a micro-miracle, a frozen accident of history that defied the odds and survived long enough to be appreciated. Even more fascinating is the growing crossover between coin collecting and alternative asset investing. In today's economic climate, people are looking for tangible assets that hold their value. Gold, silver, real estate, fine art, and yes, rare coins, have become part of that conversation. Investors are diversifying into coins not just for fun, but for financial security. A 1992 Close AM penny isn't just a collectible. In some portfolios, it's an asset class. It's a hedge. It's a potential blue chip in a market that values the physical over the digital, and that's why even rumors of a $765 million valuation for a rare 1992 penny, whether rooted in reality or not, hold power. They spark curiosity. They attract media. They draw new eyes to a quiet, historical artifact that otherwise might have remained forgotten. And maybe that's the true value, not just what the coin is worth in dollars, but what it represents in possibility. The possibility that a single cent could change someone's life. That history, hidden in plain sight, could be discovered by anyone, anywhere, at any time. Somewhere right now, someone is holding a 1992 penny in their palm, flipping it between their fingers, completely unaware of what they might have. Maybe it's been sitting in a junk drawer for years, or it was given as change during a coffee shop visit, or perhaps it found its way into a child's piggy bank. That's the quiet brilliance of a coin like the 1992 Close AM. It doesn't announce its value. It hides in plain sight. It waits. And only those with knowledge, attention, or sometimes just plain luck get to discover its truth. The truth is this: not all coins are created equal. Even if they were struck using the same design, on the same date, in the same facility, by the same government, the slightest deviation can change everything. That Close AM variation is not just a production error, it is a crack in the expected, a tear in the routine of minting where history accidentally rewrote itself. And that crack, that tear, is exactly what makes collectors pay attention. Because deep down, it's not just about owning a coin, it's about owning the story behind it. It's important to realize how truly specific the Close AM feature is. The space between the letters A and M in America was always intended to be visibly separated until the design shift occurred. And in 1993, the U.S. Mint officially adopted the Close AM design on all Lincoln Memorial cents. The existence of the 1992 Close AM implies that someone, somehow, prematurely used the die intended for the following year. This crossover, this breach in numismatic chronology, is what fuels the high value of these coins, but just identifying a Close AM is not enough. The condition of the coin plays an enormous role. A heavily worn Close AM penny, while still rare, may not yield more than a few $100s. However, one in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially if it displays full red luster and lacks nicks or spots, can skyrocket in price. The term red in coin grading refers to the original mint color. A fresh Lincoln cent shines with a coppery brilliance. Over time, exposure to air and oils dulls this sheen, and it can fade to brown or red-brown. Coins designated as red, particularly at mint state grades like MS65 and up, are highly desirable. When a 1992 close AM penny is submitted to a grading service like PCGS or NGC and comes back with a high mint state grade, the value rises exponentially. That little label inside the slab, the acrylic holder that seals and authenticates the coin, becomes the passport of trust. It tells the world, this is real, this is verified, and this is rare. Coin investors and serious collectors rely on these certifications. It's not just about owning the coin, it's about knowing it's genuine, and there's also the emotional aspect. Coins are tactile history. They've been touched, used, passed hand to hand. That very penny might have traveled across the country in a pocket, paid for a slice of pizza, been dropped on a sidewalk, or saved in a jar by someone's grandfather. Now imagine discovering that coin is one of the rare close AMs, something meant to be impossible, yet right there in your possession. It's not just the thrill of money. It's the thrill of connection. To history. To fate. To a moment in time that was never supposed to be. The internet has amplified this obsession. Online auctions have become battlegrounds for rare coins. One newly surfaced close AM cent can trigger bidding wars that span days. Social media amplifies every find, and suddenly, the numismatic world takes notice. Videos showing how to identify a close AM now rake in millions of views. Collectors share images of AM letters under magnification, debate fine points about die polish lines, and speculate on how many more examples may still be out there, but the truth is, we may never know the full population of these coins. Maybe a dozen. Maybe more. Maybe fewer. What makes a close AM so fascinating is that it exists on the razor's edge between the known and the unknown. It is both a fact and a mystery. A catalogued variety, yet still elusive. And this tension, this inability to fully pin down its numbers, is part of what keeps the coin world addicted to the chase. There's also an important distinction to be made between genuine close AM varieties and coins that appear close due to wear or damage. Not every close-looking A and M is the real deal. Some cents from 1992 that have been struck with heavy wear may cause the letters to appear closer than they actually were. That's why experienced collectors recommend using high-powered magnification and comparing multiple specimens. Real close AM varieties have specific diagnostics, certain die markers and features that confirm their identity. The most trusted verification, of course, comes from certified third-party grading services, and while the 1992 close AM grabs headlines, we should also acknowledge its cousin, the 1992 D close AM. Coins struck at the Denver Mint are typically identified by a small D mint mark beneath the year. These two were supposed to use the wide AM reverse in 1992. And yet, a few escaped with the close AM reverse, likely due to the same die swap mistake. The 1992 D close AM is believed to be even rarer than its Philadelphia counterpart. In fact, some numismatists argue it may be one of the rarest Lincoln Memorial cents ever struck for circulation. As of now, only one or two confirmed examples of the 1992 D close AM are known to exist. That kind of rarity is staggering. Think about it, billions of coins produced, and only a few made with that accidental reverse. If that's not a modern treasure hunt, what is? And yet, many people don't even know such coins exist. That's the irony, the world is full of value hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to take a closer look. The mythology around the 1992 close AM has grown to near folklore. People now tell stories of relatives who checked jars of pennies religiously. Of kids who set up cardboard displays mimicking professional grading slabs. Of amateur collectors who turned a few rolls of bank cents into thousands of dollars. This community of believers, seekers, and discoverers forms a living ecosystem around the coin. They share tips. They track auctions. They post close-up videos and hold virtual meetups. They're not just chasing coins. They're chasing moments. Possibility. Wonder. Even financial institutions and appraisal networks have begun to take notice. It's not unusual now to see bank tellers quietly pulling aside suspiciously high-quality 1992 pennies for further inspection. Coin dealers regularly advertise roll-searching services, charging fees to sift through thousands of cents in search of a potential close AM. That's the impact one rare variety can have on an entire industry, and yet, with all the attention, all the excitement, there is still mystery. How many remain unfound? Where are they hiding? How many have already been melted, spent, or discarded, their value lost forever? These are questions no one can answer. And that's what keeps the story alive. The chance. The hope. The dream, because in the end, it's never just about the coin. It's about the chase. The story. The thrill of finding something incredible in a world that often moves too fast to notice the small things. The 1992 close AM reminds us that even in a pile of what most consider worthless, there can be greatness. There can be legacy. There can be gold hiding behind copper. The market for coins like the 1992 close AM doesn't function like traditional commodities or stocks. Its behavior is governed by a different kind of logic, one rooted in perception, scarcity, collector behavior, and historical narrative. It's not just about how rare a coin is, but about how aware people are of that rarity. A coin can be one of a kind, but if no one knows it exists or no one cares about it, its value won't reflect that uniqueness. But once awareness rises, once collectors understand what makes a coin exceptional, the entire marketplace shifts. We've seen this happen over and over again in the coin world. A previously obscure variety is discovered and authenticated, and within months, demand explodes. That's exactly what happened with the 1992 close AM cent. It went from complete obscurity to numismatic stardom in a matter of years, not because it was newly minted, but because someone took the time to notice, to research, and to publish the findings. It took the combination of observation, timing, and communication to ignite interest. And once interest began to spread, value followed. Unlike commodities, where supply and demand are balanced by consistent, measurable production, rare coins are subject to sharp fluctuations. A single high-profile auction can double or triple the price of a specific variety. Publicity matters. When a major numismatic news outlet, TV segment, or viral YouTube video covers a coin like the 1992 close AM, more eyes turn toward it. More people begin searching. And with every new person who enters the market hoping to find one, the price of confirmed examples naturally rises. This attention, though sometimes driven by hype, often leads to real, tangible investment. Investors who might typically look to gold or stocks are increasingly viewing high-grade certified coins as a legitimate part of a diversified portfolio. And why not? They're physical. They're historically significant. And in some cases, they're appreciating at an astonishing pace. A 1992 close AM penny purchased for $1,000 a decade ago could now fetch more than $20,000 if properly graded and preserved. That's not just luck, that's informed acquisition, but the key word here is graded. Raw coins, those not certified or authenticated, always come with risk. Someone might sell a worn or damaged coin claiming it to be a close AM when it's not. Or it might be real, but heavily circulated, with a condition so poor that collectors aren't interested. That's why third-party certification has become the gold standard in rare coin investing. Companies like PCGS and NGC offer not just authentication, but detailed grading scales that influence pricing down to the smallest margin. For instance, the difference between an MS-65 and an MS-67 can mean thousands of dollars. MS-65 is already considered gem quality, but MS-67 enters the realm of condition rarity, coins so well struck, so untouched by time or circulation, that they seem preserved by fate itself. When a 1992 close AM reaches MS-67 red, it becomes one of the finest known. And that status, finest known, carries a special weight in the collector's world. Owning the best-known specimen of a coin is like holding the crown jewel of that variety. It doesn't just carry market value. It carries prestige, but even coins below mint state can surprise. There have been circulated 1992 close AM cents, graded 58 Australian dollars, for example, that have still commanded prices above $5,000. That's because condition is just one part of the value equation. Rarity and demand remain the dominant forces. So long as few examples exist and collectors are competing to own them, even lower-grade coins will continue to sell at impressive premiums. Yet one of the most fascinating aspects of this story is the long tail of the market, the number of people now involved in coin collecting who weren't before. The 1992 close AM has become a gateway coin. A magnet for new hobbyists. Parents teach their kids how to search for it. Retirees take up roll hunting as a way to engage with history while potentially finding a hidden gem. Middle schoolers bring pocket change to school and magnifying glasses in their backpacks. Coin collecting, once considered a dying or outdated hobby, has been rejuvenated in part because of coins like this one. And the beauty is that it's a low barrier of entry. You don't need thousands of dollars to start looking. You don't need to buy bookshelves full of specialized equipment. All you need is a basic magnifier, a handful of 1992 pennies, and the knowledge of what to look for. That democratic nature, the idea that the next $10,000 penny could be in your pocket right now, is one of the reasons the close AM story has captured so many imaginations. But with popularity comes saturation, and the coin market does have to balance excitement with realism. Not every 1992 penny is rare. In fact, the overwhelming majority are common. Billions were made. And it's easy to misread letter spacing, especially under poor lighting or without experience. Many hopeful finders mistake regular wide AM pennies for the close AM just because the letters seem to touch at a glance. That's why study, repetition, and careful comparison are crucial. You must know what you're looking for. You must compare it to verified examples. You must remain skeptical and precise. Because one false positive can be disappointing. But one true close AM, accurately identified, graded, and preserved, is unforgettable. There's also an element of patience that collectors learn through this process. You may go through thousands of pennies without finding anything remarkable. You may spend years looking. And then one day, without warning, there it is. A tiny difference in spacing that most people would never notice. A variation that was never supposed to leave the mint. A mistake that turned into a masterpiece. In that moment, time freezes. Your hands might shake. You might question your eyes. But you know it's different. You know it's real. And that's a moment that collectors chase for a lifetime, and it's not just the thrill, it's the preservation of history. Every time a close AM cent is found and certified, it's a piece of the past recovered. A chapter added to the story. A sliver of America's minting legacy brought into the light. Coins like this don't just survive, they teach. They educate new generations about how the US Mint works. About how tiny design changes can alter a coin's fate. About how even the most overlooked object can tell a story worth listening to. Collectors often describe this as the spark. The moment when a coin turns from money into meaning. When something as small as a penny teaches you to observe, to question, to seek. That's the magic of the 1992 close AM penny. It's not just about how much it's worth. It's about what it represents. An invitation to be curious. A gateway into a rich and intricate world. A signal that wonder still exists in the most unexpected places. Even as prices fluctuate and trends evolve, the close AM penny will always occupy a special place in the hearts of collectors. It's not just a coin. It's a legend. And legends, once discovered, never truly fade. They ripple through time, passed from one generation of collectors to the next. A reminder that great value can emerge from the smallest of details, and that in the world of numismatics, every coin has a story, if only we choose to listen. There's something poetic about the idea that value is hidden in plain sight. The notion that the smallest, most forgotten denomination in modern American currency could hold secrets powerful enough to change a person's life is captivating. And that's exactly what the 1992 close AM penny has become, a metaphor as much as a mystery. It isn't just a story about a minting anomaly, it's a story about attention, about patience, about noticing what others don't. Because at its heart, the tale of the 1992 close AM is about observation. It teaches you to slow down in a fast-moving world. It challenges you to look deeper. Where most people see a brown disk of almost no financial worth, a collector sees opportunity. Detail. Story. A clue to a broader world. The close AM itself, only a few microns of spacing different from the standard, proves how something microscopic can have macroscopic consequences. That little gap, or lack of one, changes a common coin into a national treasure. It's not the metal. It's not the size. It's the idea. The idea that rarity, when paired with awareness, can shift the ordinary into the extraordinary. The emotional connection collectors form with these coins cannot be overstated. A collector doesn't just buy a 1992 close AM, they remember where they found it, how they spotted it, who they told first. The coin becomes a story, a memory, a moment frozen in time. Some describe the feeling as electric. Others call it spiritual. Whatever the language, the experience resonates deeply. And when that coin is sold, or displayed, or passed down, the story travels with it. That's the intangible value, a kind of historical gravity that can't be quantified but is deeply felt. And then there's the physical coin itself. The design of the Lincoln cent, often overlooked, is a piece of fine numismatic art. Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln on the obverse is remarkably detailed considering the tiny canvas it occupies. The way Lincoln's hair is rendered. The slight bow of the shoulders. The careful placement of, "In God We Trust," above his head and "Liberty" to his left. Every element was deliberate. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, was equally intentional. Not just a symbol of Washington, D.C., but a window into the legacy Lincoln left behind. The coin's design speaks to national ideals, liberty, unity, and remembrance, and it's all pressed into a zinc core, plated with copper, weighing only 2.5 grams. Less than a nickel in material cost. That a coin this small, this inexpensive, can now be worth tens of thousands, or rumored to be in the hundreds of millions, is a testament to the human obsession with detail and meaning. And it shows how even the most mundane object can carry incredible weight when the right combination of history and rarity is involved. Even more fascinating is how the 1992 close AM has crossed beyond traditional coin collecting circles and entered the public imagination. News articles, online videos, and social media posts about its value have gone viral multiple times. Often sensationalized, yes, but always rooted in that kernel of truth, that one tiny coin, from one specific year, with one barely noticeable design change, can be life-changing. That's the kind of story people love. It spreads hope. It inspires curiosity. It sends people to their junk drawers and piggy banks and dusty coffee tins in garages. Not just looking for coins, but looking for possibility. This cultural ripple effect can't be dismissed. The coin has become a gateway, not just into numismatics, but into appreciating history, economics, and craftsmanship. More and more people begin researching not just the 1992 penny, but pennies from other years, wondering what else they might have missed. What other coins carry secret variations? What other mistakes have become masterpieces? In that sense, the close AM isn't an anomaly, it's a spark. A trigger that ignites a broader interest in things that were once forgotten or dismissed. And in an era of digital everything, streaming media, digital currency, contactless transactions, it's refreshing to see a physical object, no bigger than a button, reclaim such importance. A tangible coin that can be held, turned, examined under light. Something real. Something you can pass between generations, like a family story or a grandfather's watch. It carries time, it carries touch, it carries weight. Collectors, especially those who've been in the hobby for decades, often talk about the soul of a coin. It might sound exaggerated to outsiders, but there's something undeniably personal about it. The way it ages. The way it glows under light. The way imperfections catch your attention. The 1992 Close AM, when viewed in this light, is more than a misprint, it's a coin with a soul. It represents more than a mistake. It represents a window into a very specific moment of history, frozen in metal and mistaken in production, but treasured ever since, and the ecosystem that has emerged around this coin is vast and thriving. From YouTube channels dedicated entirely to error coin identification to full Reddit communities focused solely on Lincoln cent varieties, the digital landscape is rich with resources. There are apps now that allow collectors to catalog their coins, check auction histories, and even use image recognition to help identify potential Close AM coins. This blend of old and new, classic coinage and modern technology, has given the hobby new life. And it's largely thanks to coins like the 1992 Close AM. At the same time, caution has entered the conversation as well. Not all coins that look close actually are. Not every coin offered online is genuine. The rise in demand has created a parallel rise in counterfeits, altered coins, and scams. This is why authentication and community verification are so vital. The same internet that spreads awareness also spreads misinformation. That's why veteran collectors always advise new enthusiasts to seek grading from reputable services, to study known examples closely, and to trust, but verify. Still, even with all the noise, the 1992 Close AM remains pure in its appeal. There's no flashy design overhaul, no marketing gimmick. It is what it is, a mistake, frozen in time, that slipped through the cracks and emerged decades later to astonish the world. A simple shift in die usage, a subtle shift in spacing, and suddenly the value of 1 penny skyrockets beyond anything its creators ever intended, and so it continues, quietly, patiently, as millions of 1992 pennies remain in circulation or hidden away in basements and collections across the country. Any one of them could be the next big discovery. Any one of them could be worth more than a house, more than a car, more than a lifetime of other pennies combined. And that idea, that beautiful, crazy idea, keeps collectors coming back, because in a world where so much is predictable, the 1992 Close AM is a wild card. A small reminder that not everything of value announces itself. That sometimes, the treasure doesn't glitter. Sometimes, it looks like every other coin until you notice something just a little different. The longer you stay in the world of coins, the more you start to notice patterns, not just in the currency itself, but in the people drawn to it. You begin to understand that collecting isn't just a hobby. It's a form of memory preservation. A quiet rebellion against the forgetfulness of the modern age. Coins are one of the last artifacts we interact with every day that still tie us directly to physical history. A 1992 penny, when you hold it, is not just copper-plated zinc. It's 1992. It's that exact year. Frozen. Still sharp around the edges. Still bearing the same details, the same slight misalignment, the same texture it had more than 3 decades ago. That's part of what makes the 1992 Close AM such a magnetic object. Because it's not just a coin from 1992. It's a mistake from 1992. A brief manufacturing decision, likely unnoticed at the time, that has become a phenomenon today. And that's the beautiful irony. In most industries, mistakes are hidden, corrected, buried. But in numismatics, mistakes are celebrated. They are chased. They are preserved in clear plastic slabs, labeled, and assigned 4- and 5-figure price tags. Because a minting error doesn't signify failure, it signifies individuality. Uniqueness. A moment when the system deviated, and history was altered, however slightly. This is why mint error coins, like the 1992 Close AM, have always had an outsized presence in collecting circles. They're the rebels of the currency world. They defy standardization. They mock the notion of mass production. And the close AM, in particular, adds another layer to that rebellion because it's subtle. It doesn't shout its error. It whispers it. You have to know what you're looking for. You have to earn the discovery. And when you do, when your eye catches that almost imperceptible closeness of the A and the M in America, there's a surge of validation that no store-bought treasure could ever replicate. This surge, the thrill of the hunt, is what keeps collectors returning to the same piles of coins. It's not that they expect to find gold every time. It's that they might. That possibility is like oxygen for the collector's spirit. It's what keeps them sorting, categorizing, examining, even when they've looked through hundreds of rolls without success. Because the next coin might be the one. It's the ultimate optimism exercise, and optimism is contagious. Once one person finds a close AM and the news spreads, whether through a small collector forum or a major auction house, the entire community lights up. Posts get shared. Photos are uploaded. Comparisons are made. It becomes a collective event. And this is where the emotional heart of coin collecting lives, in the shared experience. It's not just about the individual coin. It's about the story that travels with it. Who found it? Where they found it? How long they searched? Whether they noticed it immediately or days later, reviewing images they almost deleted. Some of the most memorable discoveries come from casual coin hunters. Not dealers. Not professionals. But everyday people. A postal worker. A teenager with a magnifying glass. A grandmother who kept a mason jar full of change for decades. These aren't fairy tales. These are real stories. Verified, graded, sold at auction for staggering amounts. And with every one of those success stories, the legend of the 1992 close AM grows. It becomes something more than just an object. It becomes folklore. A real-life buried treasure that requires no map, only patience. In an age where instant gratification rules everything from entertainment to finance, coin hunting offers the exact opposite. It rewards long attention spans. Careful study. Meticulous comparison. You don't get lucky on your first try, not usually. But when you do get lucky, when your preparation meets that rare opportunity, it's unforgettable. The psychology of collecting also plays a huge role in the close AM's enduring mystique. Humans are wired to find patterns, to seek control, to impose order on chaos. Coin collecting satisfies all those urges. You start with a year. Then a mint mark. Then a variety. Then a grade. Each level of specificity gives you a deeper sense of ownership, of understanding, of control. And when a variety like the close AM exists, it becomes a key that unlocks a whole new level of that experience. Suddenly, the collector isn't just organizing a set, they're hunting. Investigating. Playing the role of historian, archaeologist, even detective. And there's dignity in that process. There's satisfaction in becoming an expert on something most people overlook. The deeper you go, the more rewarding it becomes. And that's why the close AM never gets old. Every example found adds another layer to the story. But every coin still in circulation, still undiscovered, is an invitation for someone new to join the hunt. As of now, only a few dozen genuine 1992 close AM cents have been found and authenticated. Some exist in mint state grades, high-end, gleaming specimens that defy logic with their perfection. Others are well-worn, bearing the scratches and discoloration of decades in circulation. And yet even those worn examples can command thousands of dollars. That's how powerful this variety is. It doesn't need to be flawless. It just needs to be real. And still, there's this elusive question that persists: how many more are out there? Is it possible that hundreds more are sitting in change jars, vending machine trays, or bank rolls across the country? Almost certainly. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies in the early 1990s. Even if a few hundred close AM coins slipped through by accident, that would still represent only the tiniest fraction of the total. And that's what keeps collectors motivated. Because despite the odds, the numbers say that yes, there could still be one waiting for you. This isn't like chasing a myth or a rumor. This is documented reality. Auction houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have sold these coins, with authentication papers, provenance, and hammer prices to prove it. They've appeared in major grading company databases. They've been studied in depth by leading numismatists. This is real. It's not hype. It's not speculation. It's fact, and yet, the value of the coin isn't fixed. It's dynamic. Shaped by market forces, of course, but also by emotion, by narrative, by community. A 1992 Close AM in mint state 67 red isn't just a coin. It's a trophy. A symbol of precision, timing, and patience. And its price reflects not just what it is, but what it represents, and even more amazing, there's a 1992 D Close AM variant as well, far rarer than the Philadelphia Mint version. The 1992 D Close AM is considered a true unicorn of the Lincoln Cent series. Fewer than 2 or 3 have ever been confirmed. And one of them sold for over $20,000. That adds a whole other layer to the saga. Because now there's not just one coin to hunt, but 2. One from the Philadelphia Mint. One from Denver. Both created by the same unintentional design anomaly. Both now commanding immense value, and so the chase continues. Quietly. Passionately. In basements and kitchens and collector shows and online communities. The Close AM remains the crown jewel of early 1990s Lincoln Cents. A simple deviation with extraordinary consequences. A mistake that made history. A penny that taught us all to look just a little closer.